So in this video today, what I want to discuss is actually the World Health Organization's definition of the word health. So counter to popular belief that most people would actually consider being healthy is actually adhering and obeying to very strict dieting principles, whereby you actually eat an extremely rigid, ultra-perfectionistic style of dieting. In my opinion, this actually increases the probability that you will gain an eating disorder and suffer from something what I did on my last video called orthorexia nervosa, which is where you actually obsess over eating certain foods and you actually obsess over the quality of your diet and obsess over avoiding foods that you deem as being harmful. Now, the actual World Health Organization's definition of the word health is actually to have mental, social, and physical well-being. It is not just being free from illness or disease. With actual conventional rigid dieting, it will actually hold you in what I call a paralysis frame. That all your decisions get suspended in fear, confusion, shame, guilt, and self-hatred, which actually I would argue is not being a healthy way to live. Which I actually promote is actually having a 10 to 25% discretionary calorie allowance based on your calories, based on your goal and your body, where you can actually eat a certain amount of refined foods in the day whilst eating majority healthy foods. It allows you to have a certain element of flexibility in the day and improvisation with certain foods. You have a little bit more social courage and flexibility to actually go out into the world, eat where you desire, have certain foods you want, but in moderation. Actually, it all comes down to the Greek ethos of actually having moderation of desires. Really, health is actually the synergistic equilibrium of actually having social, mental, and physical well-being. It's actually the combined element of actually having balance between all three of them domains. Conventional dieting does not allow you to have, because you obsess psychologically over certain foods, you actually avoid certain social exposure to certain foods you deem as being harmful, and it does just not work. It actually increases the probability that you're going to go through a series of binging and restriction cycles, series of control and release. You end up controlling yourself for a long period of time, and then eventually your willpower caves out, you actually fall into the release cycle, only to repeat it again. You actually suffer from something called abstinence violation effect, that you do well for a certain period of time, you're controlling it, and then you fall off the wagon and have this tsunami of toxic emotions, which makes you actually fall into further binging and restriction cycles, and then it takes twice as much willpower to get back on track. So again, to me, this isn't particularly very healthy, even though this is labeled as the gold standard of conventional dieting. So I hope that video has given you more insight into what is actually considered healthy. So being healthy isn't actually this robotic pseudo-healthism way of living. Being healthy is actually having flexibility and actually focusing on your entire life, not just your diet in isolation. Actually, the Greek origin definition of the word diet actually meant a way of life, which most programs do not adhere to and actually fall short because they are focused on such a temporary window of doing a diet only to eventually fall off it again. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that video. If you haven't already, please subscribe and have a good day.